Hello and welcome to the Daily Forex Report for June 4th. We are looking at the U.S.-Japanese yen pair. This pair closed higher during this last session, did create an inside bar. We are looking for it to potentially go as high as 78.78, possibly as low as 77.64. There we go. Look for some resistance around 78.50 and look for some support around 77.75. Now, the Euro-USD pair continued to move to the upside today, pulling back from its strong downtrend. We are looking for it to potentially go as high as 126.30, possibly as low as 123.23. Look for some resistance. Look for some resistance at 126.25 and look for some support around 123.75. Okay, now the pound US dollar pair pulled back a little bit, did create an inside bar. Look for it to potentially go up to 154.63, possibly as low as 152.85. Look for some resistance around 154.50 and look for some support around 153.25. Now, the U.S. Swiss, this pair closed down during this last session, pulling back from its downtrend. Look for it to potentially go as high if it reverses back up to 0.9738, possibly as low as 0.9507. Look for some resistance around 0.9695. And look for some support around 0.9525. Okay, well, as far as news announcements go, we do have a few news announcements going into tomorrow's session. At 12:30 a.m., we have the Reserve Bank of Australia's rate decision being released. And that consensus on that is that they're going to drop rates from 3.75 down to 3.50. Be negative news for the Australian dollar if they do that. Then the Eurozone has their retail sales for April being released at 5 a.m. Consensus on that one is that it has dropped from a negative 0.2% down to a negative 1.1%. Then at 9 a.m. Eastern, we have the Bank of Canada releasing their rate decision. They're showing that they're going to hold rates at 1.00%. Then a little bit later in the day, we have another announcement from the Australians releasing their gross domestic product, but that is around 9:30 p.m. Eastern. They're showing the first quarter a slight increase from 0.4% up to 0.5%. Year to date, they're showing an increase from 2.3% up to 3.2%. Which would be good news for the Australian dollar. Now, what am I looking for during this next session? Well, since we had some inside bars, I'm definitely looking for breakouts. If we get a breakout in the U.S.-Japanese yen pair, it has to move a good amount in either direction for it to break out. A very quick scalp would be to exit at this session's low for about 16 pips. Definitely, if you look to grab a little bit more, say around the 37 pip mark, up to the 79.05, we are hitting the 0.0 level there, so you may want to exit before then. Definitely go to break even at the 17 pip mark. Now, let's back out a little ways. If we get a break to the downside, as far as where that could go, could definitely see it moving lower considering we're in a downtrend overall long term. If we get a breakout to the downside, I could very easily see it going 25 pips, 28 pips, where it's run into previous areas of support along the way and was previous resistance there. Of course, we do have a decent amount to move to get to that point. Now, looking at the pound US dollar pair, this pair has created an inside bar as well. It also is right at some previous areas if it were to break to the downside. You notice we came down and hit an area of support here, pulled back significantly on Friday, and then closed up for today. So we may be seeing a reversal in this downtrend before we see some continuation there to the downside. Now, if it does continue to the downside, you notice this is 1, 2, this would be the third time that we've hit this in a decent, in a shorter period of time. That is actually roughly like the past 2 years or so. This low was last year actually, and this one was earlier this year. So less than a year where we've hit this price now 3 times. If we break through it to the downside, I could see it going much, much lower. So a sell off of 152.65, looking for it to head on down to the 5,000 mark, I think could, using about 150 pip stop loss, could be a very good way to play this downtrend, depending on if it breaks through there or closes below the 152.65 mark. Like I said, we closed up today. We'd have to see it reverse around and move to the downside. Well, I hope that helps, and until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.